Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Lizzie Lack, and I am your host for Technically Creative, where we chat with alumni who have pursued creative industries and are truly following their passions in life. I'm so excited to have on Archel Bernard today. She is a 2011 graduate. She got her bachelor's in Science, Technology, and Culture, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is LMC now. It's switched over for those that might not be familiar with that. She is the founder and president of the Bombchel factory, and after graduating, she moved to Monrovia, Liberia, her ancestral homeland, to start the Bombchel factory, which is a clothing line. And not only does Archel dream up beautiful African clothing, she also is led by a very powerful mission. And that is, since starting her business, she has empowered disadvantaged Liberian women by training them, employing them to become seamstresses and enabling them to support their families. So without further ado, thank you, Archel, for joining me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here and to be part of this conversation with you all. I just wanted to start off by really acknowledging the great loss that our community is experiencing right now with the death of Congressman John Lewis. When I won Outstanding Young Alumni Award at Georgia Tech and when received my award in February, I acknowledged that the very first time that I got to vote was in the Student Center at Georgia Tech, and John Lewis was on the ballot and Barack Obama was also on the ballot. So I would like to take 45 seconds of just silence because of the 45 or more times that he was arrested while fighting for justice for all of us. So I'll start it now and I'll let you guys know when it's done. All right, thank you so much for that.
Thank you for doing that. So I just want to get right into it and talk about belated congratulations on your 2020 award for the Golden White Gala for the Outstanding Young Alumni. That is awesome.
Thank you.
And I wanted to talk a little bit about your experience at Georgia Tech and how that really prepared you for starting the Bombchel factory.
I think that the biggest lesson that I learned while at Georgia Tech was to just be resourceful. Your due dates are going to come up. The projects that you have are going to do are going to come up. You're going to have to work with all types of people. Sometimes your personalities mesh, sometimes they don't. And no matter what, each day is a new day. There's no real roadmap to getting through tech. And I don't think there's a roadmap to starting a company or a business. And I think that that's the biggest lesson that I learned was just figure out ways to get things done. I'm surprised by, when you don't want to do something, you'll find reasons why not to do it. But when you really, truly are you're goal oriented, you have to get something done, you're going to find a way. And I learned how to do that at Georgia Tech.
I can definitely echo that sentiment where you might have been a big fish in a small pond at your high school or wherever you came from, and then you get here and you're like, I'm not special anymore. Yeah. And you're really kind of sink or swim. So I definitely echo that, the resourcefulness. So I can definitely appreciate that. Yeah. So I know a little bit about why Liberia, your thought process behind it, but can you share with our viewers why that was so important to go to West Africa?
So my family, we are Liberian refugees. So my mother and father moved to the States in 89, 90 at the first Civil War. So we relocated. We are refugees, and for me, it was so important to go back when there was peace. I went to school in North Atlanta and went to Georgia Tech, and honestly, I still had one more class left when I moved to Liberia, and they allowed me to take it as a free study, which I'm so grateful for because it allowed me to go to Liberia, see what things were like. It gave me a reason to go, not just to put it off into the future. It's a move that I want to make. I'll do it someday because of the way that my professor at that time allowed me to structure it. I could go to Liberia right then, see how it was, and I just never came back.
Oh my gosh. And your mission that I spoke a little bit about, empowering disadvantaged Liberian women, it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. Was that kind of like always in the back of your mind that you wanted to have your own business, but also kind of have that side of a meaningful impact, or did that come after the Bombchel factory idea?
I always say that there's no space in the world for selfish businesses. So if at any point you decide you want to be a business owner, you have to figure out how you can do it and bring the most good to the rest of the world, right? We opened, when I first started selling clothes, I was selling dresses out of the back of a pickup truck. There was no factory, there was no store, it was just me and a few people on my team. So then when Ebola happened, I realized that my business was just serving me, and I knew that if I wanted to open it and for it to be long lasting, I would have to structure it in a way that helped more people. So that was a big deal for me.
Yeah, of course. And I remember reading about you. You wanted to be, correct me if I'm wrong, the West African Oprah. And I think you said something like, if you're going to be the West African Oprah, you have to wear the clothes. You have to be truly a West African Oprah. And I love that. I love that.
My mom used to, when we were in school, and it was in Cobb County, and so we were the only Black family in the school, and then for sure the only West African family, like for miles and miles. But my mom used to always pick me up in the pickup line in her big African like head wraps and her African dresses, and it was like all the other moms are wearing jeans and things like that. So one time when she was picking me up for Girl Scouts, I was like, Mom, when you come to the school, can you dress like a normal mom? And she was thinking she's dressed up, she thought she was doing well, but really she was just like embarrassing me. But the joke is now that's my life, right? I'm like, I want all the African clothes. That's what I'm wearing them. Everybody else is wearing them. My mom is wearing them. And so it just feels different to be proud of where you're from now than it did when I was new and trying not to be different, if you know what I mean.
Oh, completely. It is funny how as we get older, we think the things that we were kind of self-conscious about, but truly make us who we are and we were so proud of. I love that kind of came full circle. And it's funny to look back on it. You're probably like, why did I ever tell her that? Like, you don't want her to be in jeans.
I love it as a story because it really grows. These sorts of things add character, and I hope that I can find an equally embarrassing way to add character to my future children's lives. Like that's the goal.
Totally. Oh my gosh, I feel the same way. Yeah, we'll come up with something good, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I am a fashion lover, but admittedly, I have no idea what it takes to start a clothing line. Was there anything that truly surprised you, or things that were difficult and surprisingly easy, or vice versa when you started the Bombchel factory?
I always say, get started, right? Because a lot of people are too shy to even start. But then also when you get started, try to keep it simple. Like our collections, we don't stray too much. Like we'll have what we call an Afrikimono, and then we'll change the sleeves and sell that as a different thing, and then we'll add some length and sell it as a different thing. Make subtle changes in your items so that as you grow, you can easily scale, Okay. So if you're trying to go from doing like business suits to evening gowns, like it's going to be a very expensive transition, and you're not really focusing on what your existing client wants. But the more slight your variations are, then the more you know that you have something to offer people who are really interested in what you've got.
Yeah. Of course. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Where do you see the Bombchel factory in 5 years? Are you looking to other fashion ventures or just expanding?
You know, it's so funny because I think the plans for everybody's 5-year plans have kind of changed this year, right? It's like we don't really know what to picture. But for sure, I want to get into some retail. I know that sounds crazy, but I want to get into some pop-up experiences for people that we can take on the road, because I know a lot of customers, we would have a lot more customers if people could try on the clothes and kind of get that experience, understand what they would look like, and just kind of be inside that style space. And so that's a lot of what I want to be working on, is how to bring those experiences to people all over the world. Also so that they can see that there is really some fun African culture. I'm from one country. I'm from Liberia in West Africa. Africa is huge. It's one of the most diverse continents in the world, if not the most diverse continent in the world. And I want to show people that we have fun, stylish, glamorous things that we can offer. So I want to, for sure, enhance experiences and make sure that people are able to touch Bombchel in so many different parts of the world.
Okay, well that segues me into my next question perfectly. I know we had kind of chatted about this, and I did a deep dive into your Instagram live about talking about appropriation and if you are not African, how you can be respectful and wear the beautiful clothing as well. So I know I told you I wanted to touch on that, and if you could share for people watching who might want to do the same as I do and wear Bombchel Factory, how can we go about doing that?
Yeah, I always say, if you're interested in wearing African clothing in general, just make sure that you're buying it from an African creator. We see lots of Chinese knockoffs now, and I think that the best way to honor people and makers is to buy from them so that they're able to make an income off of what is there. And then I also say, look for pieces that will naturally fit in your wardrobe. Okay. Yes, the pattern may be something that you don't already have, but if you can wear patterns, you can wear African patterns. Okay. If you have to start with colors and shades that you already wear, that's always a good style way to buy anything, really, so that you know that it'll match things that are your personality. But the best way to not be costumey and to just be natural is to go for those colors and silhouettes that you already wear, and that will kind of start the transition very seamlessly.
Yeah, that's really helpful. I'm thinking about my closet now and what colors I have and what I gravitate towards, and it's really helpful. And I've already been on the Bombchel Factory looking at what I want to get. So, okay, awesome. And wanted to point out what I took also from your Instagram Live was that remembering it's a celebration and appreciation, not a co-opting, not passing it off as our own. Okay.
Right, but I've seen so many really, I think that each piece, right, that we make, especially when you try to reduce clothing waste and not just make so much in bulk, but each piece that we make, I think it has an owner somewhere in the world, whether the clothing was already made with the owner in mind, or if it's something that the owner has to find 2-3 months down the line. I just think about how beautiful a woman looks when she's found her African dress, right? And I think that we have to celebrate that, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that everything is for everyone, but just knowing, this is my dress. You're wearing it in a room where the makers would never have been in, talking to people that the makers will never meet. And in order to honor them, you have to represent them and say, yes, this woman made this and she was able to change her life because she works in this project. It's very important.
Yeah, I completely agree. Right, and being not the good spokesperson, but or an ambassador to that brand and being able to share with others what you have on and why you're wearing it.
Yes, we need ambassadors of all shades in all countries, you know what I mean? And it's if we were ever to try and rally behind something, it has to be towards women growing economically, right? Yeah. And so this is something that is worthy of us championing. right? So when we wear our clothes, we should feel proud to do it. We should feel expressive about our makers. And we should, really feel comfortable saying, this is why this is important. And I am their ambassador. I will speak for them when I wear this piece.
Yeah, that is so important. Especially when you don't always know whatever you're wearing, you don't know where it comes from, and you do, and that is so powerful.
Yeah, and I think that also African fashion gives us that opportunity to start to make that shift, right? There's so many pieces in the mall that we'll never know all the names of the people who have made our things, and to be honest, like, as humans, we have to recognize that there's a cycle about that.
Yeah.
But the beauty of the fact that we get to know who these people are and get to know these women and get to know their struggles and their pains and the things that they are proud of, like, this could start that shift where we demand to know, like, how are people's lives being impacted by the pieces that we buy?
Yeah, I like that, the demand to know, where's what I'm buying? Is it ethical, sustainable? Mm-hmm. And truly it is with what you're doing. So that's awesome, and I commend you for that.
Thank you. I just really want people to know how special the people are on the other side of their garments, how their lives have changed. So many women who have been able to educate themselves, Most of the women who come and work for the Bombchel factory end up paying for school with their salaries. Do you know what I mean? And most of them, like, we would pay if we knew they wanted to, but the pride of them saying, I want to be able to pay for my college tuition or my whatever program that they're doing, like, that's important. And so it's like, whereas somebody like me was able to go to my parents and then also some student loans or whatever, this is not an option for them. Mm-hmm. And so by selling these garments, they've been able to make a way for themselves. Like, that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that completely, that is a huge deal. Something to be.
Yes.
My next question for you is, okay, have you always been into fashion? Has it always been a passion of yours? Or did you have other forms of art around you growing up?
Well, when I was in college, my fashion journey has been so interesting. When I was in not elementary school, we'll say high school, and everybody was wearing Abercrombie and Aeropostale, and I couldn't afford it. So
Abercrombie's not cheap.
I had this one American Eagle shirt, and it wasn't even that cute. And I would wear it once a week because I wanted to show that I could have the label. So I would wear it like once a week. I'd be like, okay, this week I'll wear it on Tuesday. Next week I'll wear it on Thursday. Like, you know what I mean? I'll do this differently. I'll do that different. And it was the one shirt, right? And but just to fit in, and I realized how important clothing is as a part of telling our story, identity, fitting in, being special, standing out. It does all of these things for us. Yeah. So when I went to college, I totally got every single retail credit card you could think about. The Victoria's Secret, the Gap, the Old Navy, any of these that I didn't need, right? But just so that I could kind of keep up and like go out, and so I could do this or do that or whatever. And I didn't need all those clothes that I was putting on. I couldn't afford them, and I didn't need them, right? And so now when we moved me to Liberia, I was like, what do I want my clothing to say about me, right? I couldn't necessarily afford all the nice things that I wanted, but I wanted to still look nice. I wanted to be West African Oprah. I wanted to be worthy of these nice things. So my relationship with fashion has been so varied over the years, right? Mm-hmm. But all of it has been to tell the story of who I believe I am.
Right. I know. I feel like maybe not every woman or man has that like type of journey, but I definitely have come to realize that it does say so much about yourself and who you want to present in the world. And I did the same thing. I'd wear make sure my Abercrombie, whatever the symbol was showing, to be like, yes, I'm wearing Abercrombie. And now you look back, you're like, why did I even care? But it's so like liberating in a way to be like, well, now I am truly dressing for who I am and what I am. So I totally resonate with that.
My theory now is if I leave the house and I can't tell you a story about one of the things that I'm wearing, then I need to go back inside. I need to be able to tell you a story about one piece, right?
Okay.
Like I can tell you for this kimono, we used leftover scraps. I had made a yellow kimono, and then I was like, just pipe it or something like that to Beatrice, who is always so excited to play with new styles in our factory. And so it's important to me that I can tell somebody about what Beatrice is up to, how she's doing, and what are some of the cool things that she's learned. And that to me is more fulfilling than having than maxing out a credit card on a jacket that you'll probably wear 2 or 3 times, that you don't know who on the other end, how they're suffering or what they've done or how they've helped their families by making it. But for me, it's very important to make sure that I'm at least wearing one thing I can tell you about.
Oh my God. Okay, so now I have to go home and change. I can't tell you anything about what I'm wearing, so.
Even if it's jewelry.
Okay, fine. I can do that.
Yeah, that's good. But always make sure that each day there's at least one thing, and sometimes it's not because you bought it ethically or sustainably. Sometimes it's things that you've inherited, things that you've gifted. You can say, this was given to me by somebody and therefore I cherish it and therefore I wear it more, so all of that counts. But to make sure that we do that, and then as we move forward making purchases, make sure that we can still make those kinds of purchases.
Well, that is really powerful. I love that. And I think we can all look in our closet and hopefully have those stories, and then hopefully send to Goodwill maybe some things that have gone past our time. And
even sending things to Goodwill is a thing, because I think it's a very small percentage of things we donate that end up on the floor for sale. Before we send things to Goodwill, I see it an opportunity for us to take pictures of pieces, show our friends, and see if maybe they want something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we can swap high quality items.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I've never thought to ask my girlfriends. My sisters, yes. I mostly take their stuff, but I appreciate you asking them.
Yeah. Your sisters, usually they take it without you offering it.
I know, right? My sister's watching this now, so hopefully she's probably like, yes, she takes everything of mine. But
but I saw somebody do this on during the quarantine in their Instagram. They found pictures of them wearing pieces and posted their picture. So they were the models, and they were saying, I have this, it's a size 4, I love it, I just don't wear it anymore. And then they sent it to whatever friends, some of them bought the pieces, some of them just, I would like that. And so then the friend was mailed and gifted this and sent it with a greeting card. I hope that you wear it. And then later they were able to do another Instagram post showing all their friends in these pieces. So the pieces now have new life. So I think that's just so important.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Now it's giving me new thoughts of why would I ever. Goodwill's great to give your close to, but first to see if there are people in your kind of close circle.
For sure. Start with 5 things. To 5 friends. See how they like these pieces or if they want them. And see how that goes.
Okay, I'm going to do that. It's going to be on my list of things to do this week then when I get home.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have not even gotten into the pre-submitted questions, so I'm going to start with those.
Okay.
The people who had registered before it, so I'm going to share with you some of those. Okay, cool. Let's talk about, I like this one. Okay, a viewer asked how you balance collaboration, leadership, and management with a fantastic and inspiring Bombchel team. The person who asked this is thinking about starting a textile collective in rural Georgia with a different product focus, not fashion.
Okay, collaboration, leadership, and what?
Sorry, how do you balance collaboration, leadership, and management with your Bombchel team?
Well, management is easy because, you kind of, as things go along, you grow your I would say your guidebook, your rule book, whatever, your manual, employee manual, I would say. So everybody just needs to adhere to that. Collaboration, a lot of times I'll come up with styles and then I'll ask them what they think. And so our team will be like, what if we did this sleeve on it or that? We try to do a lot of different, we try to, like I said, stay with a basic cut, but then add different things here and there. And so for collaboration, we definitely have 2 members on the team who are really creative and want to continue to be creative. And so we allow their voices to shine as we create new products. And then leadership, I think, is just important things like when we were donating the masks and I'm paying the women a salary to make masks that they then, I make sure that they are the ones going out to do the donation, because I want to show that no matter what stage in life we are, no matter if we feel like we need more or whatever, we can always give. There's always enough for you to give and be of service to people. So that's a big deal for us, is making sure that everybody knows, yes, you work at a social enterprise and you are the ones that I want to benefit, but also there are people who are less fortunate than you in this community, and you need to go help them. And so that's what's important to me, is that I lead by example. I'm giving, and so therefore I expect you to give of your time, if not your money.
Right. That is so important. Always remember that there are always going to be people who are in more need than you, and even if you don't have the capacity to give a lot, or rather give your time, that's much needed. And I'm so sure that they follow your example and truly take that to heart, because I think having you as that leader, I think you are creating a line of women who are giving back too, and that's really special.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay. With the pandemic causing many people to lose their jobs, would you consider training disadvantaged Atlanta women to sew and help the women in their youth who will most likely be homeschooled to become self-sufficient?
I feel like that's a question that it almost narrows what can be done.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Everybody who wants to change the world wants to change the whole world. But the people who actually change the world recognize that they can change a neighborhood or a little piece of it and hope that it grows and scales. So my factory wasn't in response to Ebola. It was triggered and put into motion by that. Right. But it's something that is ongoing. So with this whole coronavirus and people becoming unemployed and everything, like, this is temporary. It's not going to be forever. And so a few things. Number one, I'm not getting close enough to anybody to train them to do anything right now,
That's smart.
But also, I want to find long-term solutions in places that I actually actively can, And so the women in Liberia were trained when Liberia was safe. There was no Ebola, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I want to plant seeds that will be able to grow into a whole field, not just one plant.
Right. And I love that you said that about the whole world. Like, we know we can't change the whole world, but people, so you always kind of come in with that intention. And so I think starting small could be so much more impactful.
Exactly. We have a small team in Liberia. We could just say, oh, look, there are 30 people who are bombshells. And then they take home maybe $20 a month from us. Or we could pool our resources and make sure that we have a serious, lasting impact with the few women that we work with. And I think that's the important thing, is I want to really, truly impact you on a serious level. I want to change the trajectory of your family for the future. I don't want to just come in and just do something in order for me to say 500 women have worked for me.
Right.
But what do their lives look like?
No, you're right. It's cliche, but quality over quantity.
Exactly. That's it. No, that's it.
Well, so Ben just walked over, our operations manager, and we have another question off of Facebook.
Okay.
How do you manage the economics of relocating to and beginning a business in a new community/society such as Liberia? That's a good question.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is when you go to a new environment, you don't go saying, I know what they need. You go, you listen, you pay attention, and you allow the people around you to express what they need. I think colonialism is when you go somewhere and you say, you need this and I'm going to do this here. But actually working with communities, I think it involves sitting and listening and allowing them to tell you what works best for them. So that's my greatest form of advice. I feel like I went there like, I am going to change the this, the that, whatever. I'm going to be West African Oprah. Nobody was interested in entertainment journalism at that time, right? So it involved me listening to the community to say, what do you need? What do you actually need? And that's when you'll be successful in a new community.
That is so helpful. And I think if more people followed that would be a better business model. But I think some people are still trying to figure that out as they go. So that is so helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just got the 2-minute warning. I want to ask you one more question, and also to let everyone know, Archel will send her the questions that we didn't get to, and hopefully we'll have her answer them. So we'll share them. Just stay tuned. But I will leave you with one last question and bring it back to Georgia Tech. What is your favorite Georgia Tech tradition, and do you have one?
That is so fun. And I know you sent me this in advance, and I don't really remember if probably it's something about game day.
Oh, yeah.
Third quarter, the dance that comes, I don't even know what it's called, but I always get up and do it.
Oh, is it like this one? You go like this, and it's like the Budweiser song? Or?
Yeah, the Budweiser song. So that is probably my favorite. I always do it, and it's one of those things where it's like, am I lame because I always do this dance? But I like it. It makes me feel good, And sometimes some of those games are rough. You need something to make you feel good.
Right, it's like we're in this all together, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's just Georgia Tech. We're just a whole bunch of like nerds just hanging out and having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think probably anything surrounding a game day is my favorite Georgia Tech tradition, but that I always come back to that one.
Right, well, I'm excited to the day that we can finally come back. And
I know. I'm making my masks in some Georgia Tech colors so that if I can go to, I'm not probably going to go to a game while things are still kind of crazy with Corona, but I need to have my Georgia Tech color masks. So that's what I'm working with now.
Okay, I need to find that. And if you're going to have it on the website, if anyone's interested in finding them, it is shopbombchel.com. That can be below in the comments too. And thank you so much for joining me. I had so much fun chatting with you, and I'm so excited I got to learn more about the Bombchel factory and what you do. Yeah. And so thank you everyone else for joining us today too. I hope you enjoyed hearing about Archel and her background. And so next week on Monday, July 27th, we are going to have our next speaker, Michael Boatwright. He has a bachelor's in information and computer science and is now a professional photographer. So we are really looking forward to speaking with him. And I also want to say, if you know of anybody that you want us to highlight, please let us know. We are always looking for alumni who are in those creative, artistic industries. And I'd also be remiss not to mention that it's because of our donors that Georgia Tech Arts is able to do and keep on doing what we love to do here. And if you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can do so below in the comments. So stay safe, stay healthy, and go Jackets.